It's February 13th, 2019. We got more pro wrestling news. We're going to talk a little bit about AEW. And yes, guys, we have the update that you guys have been waiting for in regards to the TV deal. Lots of big things coming out in regards to that and when they're expected to debut. And we're also going to talk about Chris Jericho, who recently talked about an All Elite Wrestling video game, which, as you guys know, we've also talked about before on the channel. So some really cool stuff. With that being said, guys, make sure you guys click that like button, leave a comment down below, and as always, click subscribe. Welcome back to DestinationProWrestling.com. My name is Anthony, and yes, we got some more pro wrestling news. Yes, we're talking about AEW today because it's been a very interesting week for All Elite Wrestling. If you guys didn't know, Double or Nothing did in fact sell out. Not a very good experience, to be honest. If you guys were on Access tickets, trying to buy tickets, you probably faced a similar situation to myself and then as many other people. So we weren't able to get the pre-sale tickets, even though we were waiting for a really, really long time. And then, of course, as you guys can imagine, after pre-sale tickets had gone out, all the scalpers or whatever, they did their thing. They went to StubHub and they sold them for a very high amount of money. And it definitely wasn't worth purchasing those tickets. But with that being said, we gave it a couple days. Now, today, the official show was sold out within 4 minutes from what was actually left, which... props to AEW for creating a lot of hype. As of right now, there's a lot of hype behind this show. Double or Nothing is going to be a big deal because it's their first show under their brand, which obviously, not to overexcite the idea of this, but I think AEW Double or Nothing, I think, will be when we start getting more concrete information about the company. And I think this is where we're going to start to see some more things come out, and obviously some more talent will probably be announced and maybe a couple other surprises. With that being said, I did secure tickets, so I will be flying to Las Vegas. I didn't get media credentials, but if anybody knows what I should do to get that, or who I should reach out to, or if you somehow are watching this video and you could help me, I would love to bring Destination Pro Wrestling to AEW as well. I know I have a couple big things that I'm working with some other podcasters and other creators. We've already talked about this, so I will be flying out to Las Vegas for AEW Double or Nothing. And that's because this is the first event under the AEW brand. So historically, it's going to be a big part of history, potentially. And I definitely want to have a trip to Vegas. So it should be definitely a good week. Now, with that being said, guys, this is bringing me to today's news. If you guys didn't know, JD from New York 206 on YouTube, he's a internet sensation. JD is a really good content creator. I've worked with him before, talked to him before. And one of the things that he talked about, he had a video. There were some sources close to Wrestle Talk who have come out and discussed some TV deal stuff. So I'll make sure I put the link to his video in the description. But basically, what's really coming at this point, guys, is there's a lot of things going on with the television deal situation. Now, previously, we've discussed the opportunity for AEW being on TBS, and that was originally what was leaked and what was rumored. But now it is safe to say that there is a very, very strong possibility that the show will be on TNT or TBS, one of the two. Before, TNT wasn't part of the conversation. Now TNT could very well be the exclusive landing spot for AEW. And this is going to be really good for AEW because they're going to need a very big television deal. There has been talks before that Access TV, Paramount Network, which is also known as Spike, there's been a lot of talks about these companies getting involved. There's also been a lot of talks of a company, you guys know, they're a little bit more newer to the scene. It's called DAZN. People never really understand what DAZN is, but it's DAZN. It's home of a lot of combat sports, boxing. They've also been rumored to be somewhat included in this situation, so nobody really knows for sure what is happening, but we do know that AEW could potentially be starting on TNT. Now, what's really interesting is there's a schedule of events that will be happening. So up until October 2019, AEW will basically be announcing a new pay-per-view every single month until then. And that seems to be the report that's been going around. Now, I don't know if it's going to be every single month, but the possibility of an event every so often until TV tapings begin. Now, I don't know if AEW is in a situation where they're going to be taping live or doing pre-taped content. But the idea is that AEW will debut sometime in October 2019, which is a fantastic thing for AEW because obviously this is like the perfect timing. People will be excited by then. SmackDown Live should also be on Fox. It's going to be a big time for the pro wrestling world. And obviously, you know, roughly around that time, a lot of people don't know this, but like the October to like February, March, that's when WWE starts to become kind of questionable. Obviously, it's, you know, SummerSlam is done. WrestleMania season is not in gear. So this is a situation where I think AEW could be timing this perfectly. If people start getting tired of WWE, especially at that point if things haven't improved from what's been happening now, a lot of people may give AEW a shot. And that's obviously a very, very big deal for a business perspective. But the idea is that AEW could be debuting on television in October 2019. And again, timing just makes sense. It's a good business move. But a lot of this is going to happen after the sequel to All In, which if you guys don't know, All In, we've talked about this before on the channel. All In will basically be renamed to something called All Out. And that, I don't know like what the plans are for this, but if the title is anything, I would say it indicates that they're going to go all out on this special production, which is huge because obviously AEW is going to have a lot of money and a lot of resources to be able to pull off these big events. So the idea is going until October, we're going to have a few more special pay-per-views. We're going to see more rallies, more press conferences, more signings, more things, you know, more information on the roster. And as these things come about, then we'll obviously get the idea of when we're going to start seeing television. Now, rumors online suggest that AEW could very well announce a TV deal very soon as Double or Nothing as well, which is a really cool thing because obviously you're trying to get advertisers involved. You're trying to get brands and companies to work with you. A lot of people have been making the joke, hey, this is a T-shirt company, and, you know, as funny as that joke is, at this point, we do know they're going to be on TV. We know they're going to be on pay-per-view. We know they're going to have a roster. And, you know, it could be a really good thing or it could be a really bad thing. And whether this actually becomes a huge ordeal for WWE, I mean, in the first year, I don't think so. And that's where I kind of have to end that conversation. I don't think WWE versus AEW should be the conversation. It shouldn't be the topic people are talking about. I'm going to AEW's Double or Nothing because I want to be there. I want to enjoy a good weekend in Vegas. And on top of that, I love pro wrestling. So my personal opinions towards that is the fact that I can go enjoy a nice weekend in the West Coast, and on top of that, be able to enjoy a great wrestling show. And, you know, if Double or Nothing flops, then I'm going to learn my lesson, and I'll probably never invest in another pay-per-view like that again. But it's only right. Last year I did WrestleMania. This year I was going to do WrestleMania. By the time WrestleMania happens, it's in New York. I'm not really too thrilled about it being in New Jersey and New York. There's a lot of travel, a lot of resources. I don't really want to deal with that stuff. So good business decision for AEW. And obviously we look forward to hearing what's officially going to happen with their television deal. And on to our final story of the day, just a little bit of a quick one. If you guys didn't know, Chris Jericho actually recently spoke to, I believe his name is Brian Mazik, on Forbes.com, and he spoke a little bit about AEW and why he signed to AEW. Obviously, part of this was because he knew that a large television deal was going to be there. He wants to obviously be part of a huge change in the wrestling industry. And, you know, if you're Chris Jericho and you're not, you know, a prominent piece of WWE television, it kind of makes sense. Hey, you're going to go to AEW. You're going to follow the trend. Right now, wrestling fans online absolutely love what the Elite are doing, and it makes sense from a business perspective. But what also was really interesting about his conversation and this interview was he even hinted at the possibility of an AEW video game, and he really strongly believes that there is going to be an AEW video game. Now, if you guys didn't know, I'll actually put the link in the description down below. I created a official video game concept for All Elite Wrestling, which seems to be really interesting. It's taken the Twitter world by storm because there's a lot of people stealing it and throwing their own watermarks and whatever. But Listen, if they want to remove my copyright, my watermarks, and they want to remove my images and just put their name over it and do all that stuff, that's cool. But at the end of the day, I know I made it, and I'm excited about that because a lot of people are excited about AEW, and I'm glad that my video was able to bring some people excitement about a potential video game. But Chris Jericho talks about the recent history with Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes being really big fans of video games, and obviously Kenny Omega travels for video game conventions. So he's kind of mentioned this, put it all together, and said, listen, this is going to be a huge thing. This is a roster that's not been in a video game. So this will be a very big thing for AEW, and he could see them eventually going that route, which this is one thing, regardless if you're just a WWE fan, we want more pro wrestling games out there. Between Fire Pro and WWE, obviously there's some other weird ones, but they don't really get, they don't play as well. They're not as fun. They're kind of boring. You guys know what I'm trying to say. We need more wrestling video games. So hopefully Chris Jericho is right. Hopefully his prediction of an AEW video game coming soon comes to life, because that would be very, very fun and very unique. And it's another piece of content that your favorite YouTubers will be able to provide. So with that being said, guys, my name is Tony from Destination Pro Wrestling at Destination PW. Guys, links down below, all the social media. And my question of the day, if you guys made it to this point of the video, I was thinking about creating some merchandise that I can sell with the Destination Pro Wrestling logo and all that stuff. It's going to be synced to the YouTube channel. Would you guys buy some Destination PW merchandise? I do know for a fact I will be bringing some merchandise to Double or Nothing. I'm going to show some people some love. So if you guys are going to Double or Nothing, leave a comment down below. Tell me if you guys got tickets, and hopefully I'll see you guys there.